women's health is escalating with an onslaught of new lawsuits filed by Catholic groups, including Notre Dame University, Catholic University of America, and the Archdiocese of New York. Now, they are trying to block the Obama administration mandate that requires employers to provide birth control coverage. New York Cardinal Timothy Dolan says the president's exemption does not go far enough.
Now just get rid of these choking definitions that intrude into the very integrity of the church, and simply say, if a church has moral objections to this, we're not going to force them to do it. That seems to be a compromise. The president gets what he wants. We get the religious freedom that we're thirsty for.
I am joined now by Matt Smith, president of Catholic Advocate, one of this country's largest Catholic advocacy groups. And now let me start with this. Did it have to come to this? I want to play you what the president said when he announced the compromise back in February. Take a listen.
But if a woman's employer is a charity or a hospital that has a religious objection to providing contraceptive services as part of their health plan, the insurance company, not the hospital, not the charity, will be required to reach out and offer the woman contraceptive care free of charge, without copays and without hassles.
What's wrong with that compromise the president offered by requiring health insurers to pay for birth control for religious employers?
Well, a few things, Craig. You know, first of all, 3 years ago this month, there was another commencement address given at Notre Dame where the president talked about seeking common ground on issues of disagreement. And we're at today's discussion because that common ground, by his definition, is where he and Kathleen Sebelius and Nancy Pelosi stand. And the accommodation that was announced on February 10th actually does nothing for those archdioceses and other Catholic groups who are self-insured, because they're still put in a position where they are paying for coverage that is against the teachings of the church.
We also understand that there have been ongoing conversations between the Catholic Church and the White House and Congress talk about some of the pending legislation. What happened to those conversations? What happened to those discussions?
Well, from listening to Cardinal Dolan's statement yesterday, as many as others who have been in those discussions, the administration was unwilling to budge on the rule that has been put into the Federal Register, and unfortunately we have gridlock here on Capitol Hill behind me in our United States Capitol. The Senate did have a vote on the Fortenberry-Blunt Amendment a few months ago, and it failed. And unfortunately, the Respect for Rights of Conscience Act hasn't moved in the House. So that leaves the various Catholic institutions, our diocese, our archdiocese, our Catholic charities, in a position where they need to seek recourse from the courts.
Catholics United, the liberal lay group, claims that these lawsuits are serving a right-wing political agenda on the part of the bishops. Here's what Executive Director James Salt had to say in a statement. I'm going to put it up on the screen here for you. Quote, in part, the leadership of the Catholic Church is more interested in playing politics than it is in providing for the common good. To suggest that our religious liberty is somehow compromised because employees now have access to contraception is an insult to those who actually suffer violence on account of their beliefs. What's your response to that, sir?
Well, I would hope that James, and I've only met him once, would take a cue from not only our Constitution, but what our church teaches about our most sacred liberties, and as well as the intrinsic evils and settled issues of our church. And one of those would be the sanctity of life. And not only does this issue go headlong into our religious liberties as a Catholic Church, but it does so by forcing us to violate one of the settled issues of the teachings of our church, and that's the protection of the sanctity of life.
Matt Smith. Matt, thank you so much. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks. Best to you and Lindsay.
Thank you very much, sir.